So you want to learn something new. Maybe it's a language, a musical instrument, or just how to not look like a fool in conversations. The problem? Learning is hard, boring, and your brain would rather scroll through memes than absorb anything useful. But don't worry, because today we're going to break down exactly how you can learn anything in 6 simple steps without wanting to throw your books or yourself out the window. Step 1. Stop thinking you're dumb. First things first, you need to stop assuming that you're incapable of learning. Yes, your brain has the attention span of a goldfish, but so does everyone else's. The difference between smart people and not so smart people isn't intelligence, it's persistence. Even Einstein probably had moments where he got distracted by a fly in his room. If he can figure out relativity, you can at least remember your Wi-Fi password. And if you think intelligence is genetic and you're doomed to be average forever, remember this: most of the people you think are geniuses just spent more time struggling with their subject than you did. They didn't wake up one day knowing quantum physics. They sat in front of a book, stared at it in confusion, and kept going until they finally understood. And that's your job too. Step 2. Actually use the information. Here's a harsh truth. Reading 50 self-help books won't make you a genius unless you actually apply what you read. Learning is like gym workouts. You don't get abs by staring at fitness influencers on Instagram. If you want to learn something, you need to use it. Learning a language? Speak it, even if you sound like a confused toddler. Learning to code? Write actual code instead of just watching tutorials. Studying history? Find a way to argue about it at dinner parties without getting disowned. The key is making your brain think the information is important so it actually remembers it. Most people think learning happens when you passively absorb information. Nope. Your brain only remembers things when it thinks they're necessary for survival. And no, passing a test does not count as survival unless you're in South Korea. So find a way to use the knowledge immediately after learning it, or you might as well not bother at all. Step 3. The 80-20 rule, because who has time for 100%? Did you know you only need about 20% of the knowledge to get 80% of the results? This is called the Pareto principle, and it's the reason why some people seem to learn things way faster than others. Want to play the guitar? Learn the basic chords first, not Beethoven's symphony number 9. Want to learn a new language? Start with the 500 most commonly used words, not poetry from the 1600s. Want to cook? Master salt, butter, and garlic. Everything else is extra. You don't need to know everything, just enough to function. The trick is learning just enough to fake expertise. Nobody expects you to know everything about a subject. They just want you to sound like you do. So instead of drowning in unnecessary details, focus on the core 20% that gives you 80% of the results. Then, if you actually care, go deeper. Step 4. Trick your brain into thinking. Learning is fun. Your brain loves dopamine. Unfortunately, textbooks don't provide that. But you can trick your brain into thinking learning is fun. Gamify it. Turn studying into a challenge. Reward yourself when you succeed. Yes, snacks count as rewards. Teach someone else, even if that someone else is your cat. Change your environment. If your study space makes you feel like a hostage, move somewhere else. Find a way to make learning slightly less miserable, and your brain will stop resisting it. You can even add some friendly competition. Find a friend who's also learning something and turn it into a race. Humans are naturally competitive. Use it to your advantage. Step 5. Take breaks, because your brain is not a machine. If you try to study for 10 hours straight, congratulations, you've successfully wasted 9.5 hours. Your brain doesn't work like that. The best way to retain information is to study in chunks: 25 to 50 minutes of focus, 5 to 10 minutes of mindless scrolling, or actually standing up and stretching. Repeat. This is called the Pomodoro technique. And it's the only reason people survive studying for finals and don't fall into the trap of overstudying. Your brain needs time to digest information, just like your stomach needs time to digest food. If you keep shoving information in without a break, your brain will just throw up all that knowledge, metaphorically speaking, of course. Step 6. Fail, but keep going anyway. Here's the truth nobody likes to admit. You're going to suck at first. Your first drawings will look like a caveman made them. Your first sentences in a new language will sound like a toddler who just woke up from a nap. And your first attempts at playing an instrument? Well, your neighbors will hate you. But that's the point. The people who actually get good at something aren't the ones who are naturally gifted. They're the ones who kept going despite being terrible at first. The faster you accept this, the faster you get better. And don't let failure discourage you. Every time you fail, you're just one step closer to success. So instead of giving up, just fail faster. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. Step 7. Learn how to learn. Most people don't think about how they learn. They just assume that more time equals more knowledge. This is not true. Learning effectively is a skill in itself. Use active recall. Instead of rereading, try to remember key points from memory. Use spaced repetition. Revisit information at increasing intervals to improve retention. Use multi-sensory techniques. Watch, listen, write, and speak about what you're learning. Mastering how you learn will make every new skill or topic easier to understand and retain. Step 8. Be curious about everything. Curiosity isn't just a trait of geniuses, it's a tool that makes learning automatic. If you approach topics with curiosity rather than obligation, your brain naturally retains more information. Ask why and how about everything you encounter. Explore beyond the surface of a subject instead of just memorizing facts. Make learning social. Talk to others who are interested in the same thing. Curiosity turns learning from a chore into an adventure. Step 9. Develop a learning routine. Cramming doesn't work. Learning is like exercising. You see results when you're consistent. Build learning into your daily routine so your brain gets used to it. Set aside a fixed time daily for intentional learning. Rotate subjects to keep things interesting and prevent burnout. Track progress to stay motivated and see how far you've come. Long-term consistency beats short-term intensity. Keep at it, and you'll get smarter every day. If you made it this far, congrats! You're now 1% smarter than you were 10 minutes ago. If you want to keep that brain power growing, subscribe to this channel because, let's be real, your brain could use all the help it can get. And who knows, maybe in a few months you'll actually be able to impress people at parties with your knowledge. Or at the very least, win an argument on Reddit. Stay productive and see you in the next one.